We have, every couple of years, a very, very big announcement about the Reagan Foundation Library, when our book signing will be. I also give a speech, or we have a talk there. We have a dinner there. It's an all-day function. It's fabulous. And at the bottom of this hour, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll bring on the new president and CEO of the Reagan Foundation Library, David Trujillo. And David Trujillo is going to give the specifics, including the link where you can go. And I just want to give you a heads up. If you're thinking about going to the Reagan Library for our event in October, you really need to get ready. The link isn't working. It's not going to be turned on until 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's when it'll be announced what the link is. The event will be October 21st on a Saturday. He'll announce the time. He'll talk about what we do there. But you're going to need to be prepared, because in 22 minutes we'll make the announcement. The link will literally be flooded. And we have sold out on that event because it's a significant event. It's not held often. It involves a fabulous dinner, a conversation we'll have with questions and so forth about the book, Democrat Party Hates America, as well as a book signing. And I sign books until all the books are signed. That is, everybody's happy. And so I want to strongly encourage you folks, get ready. This is an exciting day. We've sold out. One year it was in 7 minutes. Another year it was in 35 minutes. Because there's people not just in California, but of course in California, but all over the West Coast who want to get involved. We have people who actually fly in from the East Coast. Some people fly in from other countries. And they make a trip around it. So that's how big this is. It's a big deal. And we look very much forward to it. Don't forget also, Saturday, September 23, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Bookends in Ridgewood, New Jersey. Bookends in Ridgewood, New Jersey. They're ready for us. The next day, Sunday, September 24, 1 to 5 p.m., our friends at Barnes & Noble, Tyson's Corner Mall. And that's the Tyson's Corner Center in McLean, Virginia. And that's it. We won't be doing any more. Those three, that's it. I think that's the fewest we've ever done, but it's the nature of the beast these days. My God, do I have a lot to talk about here. First of all, there's some breaking news involving Christopher Wray and the FBI. The man is a liar. He tries to deceive the American people. He doesn't answer straightforward questions. He puts out propaganda. He is a cover-up artist for the violations of law and practices and traditions that the FBI is now involved in. He's a cover-up artist for the Biden crime family. And he's promoted by his friend Chris Christie, who knew him when Wray was head of the criminal division in the Bush administration. And it was Christie who recommended Wray to be director of the FBI. What a disaster and a disgrace. Washington Examiner reports, Ashley Oliver, a controversial document issued by the FBI Richmond field office in January, taking aim at certain traditionalist Catholics, tied in FBI offices in Portland and Los Angeles, according to a less redacted version of the document. All right, let me explain this. First of all, wouldn't you think a Catholic president would want to get to the bottom of this? Joe Biden is Catholic in name only. We have Jews who are Jewish in name only. And you can go down the list. Joe Biden supports the most radical approach to abortion in American history, in the history of any free country. Abortion on demand, paid for by the taxpayers. Abortions in the military, paid for by the taxpayers, that is, to travel. This isn't, upholding Roe v. Wade. This is upholding murder. Infanticide is murder. So what they're saying here is Wray and the FBI really tried to limit this. They gave the committee, Jim Jordan's committee, a heavily redacted document. And that document from January basically fingered the Richmond office, the field office of the FBI. That was it. Wray said as soon as he heard about it, he yanked it, he killed it, and rejected it. But now the committee has looked under some of these redactions. And they show that it wasn't just the Richmond field office. It included the FBI offices in Portland, Oregon, and Los Angeles, California. That's 3 FBI offices. In other words, that's the FBI. The version obtained by the Washington Examiner linked so-called radical traditional Catholics. Now, these are Catholics where the Mass is often, if not in whole in part, in Latin. And that would include people like Antonin Scalia. He went to a Catholic church where that's the kind of practice they had. But I want you to think about what's taking place here. It's the same Justice Department trying to destroy Donald Trump, trying to destroy the rights of parents. The documents first made headlines this year after it was revealed the Richmond office had assessed that threat presented by the so-called radical traditional Catholics and explored threat mitigation opportunities, such as engaging with certain churches in an attempt to persuade their leadership into working as tripwires or sources for the FBI. So they wanted to have monitors, preferably the priests themselves, that is, spies on the parishioners. Espionage against the Catholic Church. Now, when you take that and you put it with the major censorship operation that was going on by the Biden administration and the Democrat Party, and when you see that they're trying to put Donald Trump in jail for the rest of his life in Washington, D.C., and that he shouldn't be allowed to talk about what the judge is doing, an Obama judge, what the prosecutor is doing, an Eric Holder prosecutor, that they want to shut him down, you can see what's happening in our country. Jim Jordan, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, called the new version of the document startling. Said the new information suggests the FBI's use of its law enforcement capabilities to intrude on America's First Amendment rights is more widespread than initially suspected and reveals inconsistencies with your previous testimony before the committee, Jordan wrote in a letter to Wray. I have an entire section on the First Amendment in The Democrat Party Hates America. And what you will learn in that section is that the Democrat Party has never supported free speech. Ever. In fact, what you'll learn is the Democrat Party has never supported the Bill of Rights. Ever. There have been multiple efforts to destroy or substantially cripple free speech in this country, all from the Democrat Party. They create camouflage through campaign finance laws that they try to pass. They've tried to amend the First Amendment flat out. They try to prosecute people who they disagree with, particularly reporters. The Democrat Party rejects the First Amendment, all of it. The religion clauses, too. So the attack on the Catholic Church was more than the Richmond office, just like the attack on the Tea Party was more than the Cincinnati office. The attack on the Tea Party, the current so-called special counsel trying to destroy Donald Trump, was behind that. Now, on Life, Liberty, and Levin this Sunday, we're going to have Alan Dershowitz, and we're going to have Miranda Devine, and they're going to have time to speak. And I want to talk about what I see as a comparison that I did to some extent here, but I want to do it fully and thoroughly. About what happened to Putin's opponent, who now is serving 30 years in in Russian prison. And Donald Trump, if he gets the maximum on all these charges, he'll be serving 464 years. We don't know anything about the judge in Putin's judiciary. We know a lot about the judges in Obama and Biden's judiciary. We now know tonight, we learned today, that Judge Beryl Howe, who was the chief judge, who spent 10 years working by Patrick Leahy's side as chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, she's a radical leftist. She got appointed because that's what the Democrats look for. She was the chief judge of the D.C. District Courts. She ruled against Trump 100% of the time. She ruled to take away his attorney-client privilege that all of us get because she was asked to do that by the so-called special counsel. We now know in January she ruled in secret because she didn't want Trump to leave the country, that the special counsel could have secret access to Trump's Twitter account, which, of course, he doesn't use and hasn't for a long time. But that's beside the point. This is what these judges are doing. This is why you despise them, every damn one of them. This is why you despise the FBI. Look what they do. This is why you despise the Department of Justice. You have the Biden crime family. You have issues of bribery, extortion, obstruction, fraud, RICO on top of fraud, money laundering, wire fraud, FARA violations, including Biden, co-conspirator to violate FARA. And there's not even a criminal investigation taking place. Not even a criminal investigation. You're right to be disgusted, and you're right not to trust any of them. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, we're losing our status in the world, and we're losing our primary status in the world. Joe Biden just agreed to swap prisoners that Iran took, Americans, for no damn reason at all, for Iranian prisoners who are terrorists. And on top of that, he's going to release billions of dollars to the Iranian regime. Billions of dollars to the Iranian regime. There was a story yesterday, I didn't get to it, also leaked by the White House, that Benjamin Netanyahu, who's supposed to be our ally, right? They hate Netanyahu. They love the Islamo-Nazi regime in Tehran. Tells you all you need to know. They tried to humiliate Netanyahu for the 1,000th time. That's what Obama, Biden, and other anti-Semites do. Oh, really? Again, you'll read the book and you'll know that both of them are anti-Semites. In fact, the Democrat Party's always been filled with them. Yes, going back to Franklin Roosevelt. Don't believe these phony documentaries on PBS and everywhere else that promote FDR because he was an economic socialist who destroyed our constitutional system. What did he say? I said what needed to be said. You'll read all about it. So what Biden is doing is now saying, through leaks, of course, that well, yeah, okay, we kind of invited Netanyahu, but he's trying to use it as a banner to promote himself, to give some kind of justification for the radical right-wingers in his coalition government and so forth and so on. So that's what Biden and his people did today.